You see these four heads? They are here to tell you
the four minds who become the one mind.
It's already fucked up a little bit because
We are
the
the four
drain
minds,
hose in the back of the washing
as
machine
one mind.
came off. Wasn't on there all the way good.
And blue,
Couldn't reach down and do it. I just put it all in there. You really got to be hanging upside down inside of there to where you can barely just pop yourself back up, unless you've got an ally who can pull you out of the hole you go into. That's the only two ways to do it. Well, I didn't have it opened it up enough to where I could get in there yet. It was on there pretty good, but not good enough, obviously, because I'd moved the thing a little bit more, and the dryer moving too probably caused it to loosen up enough to be able to pop right off. It popped off and flooded the floor. So it did it, and I caught it, had basically got it all cleaned up with the rags. Thank God for the thousands of rags. Thank you, Panda, for all those rags. Although a towel would have been nice. I didn't have one within freak out range.
But
Something
the
is workable.
Photoshop app has come with a whole new category of effect called shake.
Solution shit.
So you're going to see me jostle and shake.
Just use that stuff
as I going down. So
don't
you know
the freak out range looking
it's
for
intentional.
Something that you're not unknown
shimmy and shake
about where it's at, unless you've known certain of where it is. That's not a good idea. So he popped out and even more water come out. So I just swept as much of it as I could get out the door and squeeze the rags. Squeeze the rags. I squeeze the rags and let them drip so they can suck some more lip of the water if they can. But they pretty saturated, man. I would try to get some more, and I have a few more. I'll probably have to be doing that. The sad thing was that I really thought it was not going to jump wildly like that anymore, because looking inside of it, it didn't appear to be anything but just cattywampus loose and able to fly the fuck around. Not very each one of them rods looked completely fucking out of whack from the next. So I did it like when we do the boxes that we hang that have those. I just basically put them roughly the same. I didn't over tighten them though, and I probably should have tightened the shit out of them, but I didn't, because I didn't really know what the fuck, how it would react, what was going on. And I'm not going to be able to get in there again in any way that I know, so that really sucks. So what better way to vent than out these four heads that rotate and shoot those energies every which way away, like here. Yeah, poof, gone. Now you're gone. Yeah, spit it out in your face. I mean, those kind of look like my face, but they really don't capture the fullness. It's like trying to do some weird shit with my nose, making it not my nose. Whose beard is that? It's not my beard. But I control the mouth of this face, so fuck it. I assume control of the four face rotating being whose home is space in a blue bliss that shines, that sparkles. What do you think? Any ideas? Channel them back in time towards me now, and I'll accept them. Okay, look, we're getting some in the inbox. that doesn't exist for this purpose only. You've got mail. You shouldn't, but you've got mail. You've made a way for mail. Make the way for the mail. I don't care if you don't have a fucking password. I don't give a fuck. Make one up. Tell yourself that you gave the correct password. Go through the motions. Synthesize the process. Imprinting it from an area where it goes unabated, where everything goes properly, and it doesn't matter how. If it sets up and does it itself, that's just as good as. And if you have to manually do it, then do that. The idea is to get it as a possibility to be able to do things that you're not currently be able to do. Why? Because the next time you find that you're able to do it, then you're getting there. If you've got that piece you have to start and it doesn't happen then, you're really pulling something together though by doubling down at it right then. What the fuck what did you just say? I don't think there's a way to translate that into the dimension correct, because I'd have to use something that would put you somewhere you wouldn't be, and I want to leave you where you need to be to complete my statement. Can't you just teleport then to the other end of it? I guess so. Lock in on me. Lock in on me. Energize. You're just gonna teleport. I'm coming now back to you. See, because I asked for ideas. I said send them backwards in time to me and I would receive them. And I began to get them. I got some ideas. So one of you sent me one. Use the idea. I did. I don't need to disclose it. I'm here to say thank you and line myself back up in the temporality right. What the fuck? That stuff they took out of our science was making it way too complicated, which, as someone who doesn't like math, doing it, math's fine. It's great. Y'all do the math. If you want to do the math, do it. Mathematic models for all the science stuff? Sure. Get it done. If you can do that, do that. But they said, at first, I couldn't even understand what they were talking about, how it first is expressed. Now, after the second time, and I tried to make a good explanation of what it was per what I understood I needed to.
Bluetooth connected.
It is difficult. So, in like a circuit that they design a circuit, and they have the both ends that it comes from, the ground and the other end, whatever those two ends are, they make them balance. So if one's 400, the other one's negative 400. All right? Except when they do that, and they always do it, they balance it out. They want it to look pretty. I like stuff that looks pretty too, so I can understand where they're going. But you can plug just in at different places in the either circuit or math. I don't know if you need to describe the circuit or if it's the math problem that needs the description now. So you two can just vibrate them into one another like a deck of cards you're shuffling really fast. Since it's not cards, it's concepts, make sure to shuffle it 3 times. And get them concepts in there shuffled real good. So they said that those, the stuff that we're actually calling our, most of the shit we're doing is the effect. We're looking at phenomenon, lightning, the electricity that goes into the wire that we plug in. That shit is a secondary effect that comes off of what is being cut out. What's being cut out actually is representing what is really going on in the reality. That's what they said. That's what I finally caught. I was like, ah. And since they're cutting that part out and focusing in on the material side, which is what you have to do with material science, you have to measure fucking 1 foot is 12 inches, put a mark, and then cut along the line for your board. That's how you do it. And everything's the same way. Measure twice, cut once. Even if you're using a laser machine to plasma it out, make sure the measurement's right twice before it cuts. And if it's right, then we'll see along these other points, they say those are the potentials. They call them potentials because they could be whatever they are. And if you they had the math right in the beginning. The first guy who wrote these equations wrote them right, and they're way crazy. And he was into this shit because he was into the weird phenomenon, and the gang of scientists that were trying to turn what they were saying that they wouldn't have any electrical engineers if they didn't make their electricians go through this in the 1860 to 1900s, the last part of the 1800s. So, and this is Heaviside, Maxwell, Hertz is in there. I don't know all the names of the guys, but it's fucking an all-star fucking team of real fucking bright minds. But the thing is, you have to have all the bright minds participating, or wherever you're at, it's going to get totally fucked. And I don't know why that guy was no longer playing ball. Well, maybe he died. I think he was older than them. And the top guys who wrote the stuff and were having to standardize the field, because now think of if when they didn't have it as a school to be studied yet, if they're doing this, so they haven't even gone to the school because they're discovering it and trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Got to give it to them. Anytime somebody has to do that, that's got to be the more difficult thing that one has to do, if that's what you're doing. So if you're having to figure out all the shit and then, order your equipment and you don't know even what you're supposed to, something like it, you have more freedom, because it's like if you want to design how you get this thing done, whatever's going on with your electronics and machinery shit. It's not limited to electronics, but it's the interplay of the electronics, what they're actually tying into with the controls if they would access the potentials. See, that's blowing my mind, because we're going to go chain some boxes out, and this is the only time I've ever had to fuck with that shit myself. It was so many years ago, but it would be in these things in those same systems, in the controls for how the dampers operate, in whatever schedule you can program them to do it, and however it can be balanced in that to having also all the gadgets and such to get its data. See, you could be doing some other shit, because they say the potentials allow you to pull from the vacuum energy, and they're already having to put a lot of the energy that they have in back. It's admitted that they've got to put like almost half of all the electricity that they produce back into the setup, or the factory, or the lines, or however they've got it set up, since they've got it fucked up and neutralized, and didn't realize what they were doing when they did that was restricting a greater I mean, I can see why you would want to clamp all those off. They're like, ductwork has different trunk lines, and if you just had a trunk line and you didn't cut it off, or you didn't at least be able to shut it off at the first tap, that's what mined. But he was talking about something weird about a tap. That's the first thing you ever have to do is put in a spin in, and you have to be able to do it perfect. You have to cut the hole perfect, because then you could just cut the hole, put one end in it, and just lightly hammer it with your, like, ninja chop that bitch and pop it in, and that's about as player as you can put a spin in. If you measure it right, using it, just mark it out, and then with the sharp fucking snips, of which this is the tool. This is like the fucking carpenter's hammer for sheet metal people. This is the one I have chosen for myself. And although it's Midwest, it was the Sears ones when they were first got, and they're old. Sheet metal tools are very, as all tools are, but they have been they've been communicating a message. I'm glad it made it in time, because we're supposed to go to work tomorrow on some of that shit. And it doesn't matter what I do. If I get my understanding all tied in back into these things, like my old job, weird shit like this, 1800 scientist guys. I don't even remember hearing about them in school, although I do think I'm able to forget them by now. When did they teach that shit? I remember Maxwell, and I remember hearing about Hertz, but I don't know. I don't remember until I'd found out recently about Heaviside. He's supposedly the one that was an academic. He had shit all figured out, but in his own fucking way, not using the school. When I hear stories like that, I'm more intrigued, and I like them. Why? I don't know, because maybe like some of you, I've not gone to the school, and there is hope for my understanding in that case, and some of these things. Because some of the best fields that humans have, right currently now, are all fucked up. Whatever they're doing is not doing it right. They could be doing it a hell of a lot better, and they may not know it. That's what's fucked up. It may be something real simple you could do differently, and you could do it very simply and easily in the way I was just saying it. It could be done with air conditioning stuff, just because they have parts that fit the math equations for a similar thing. Both eyes, I need you to light up. So when I get stoned and my eyes are on fire like this, one of them goes out. I get the lazy eye. You know, some people get the actual lazy eye. Eyes starts wandering and looking away and shit. You're like, hey, I'm over here. Are you talking to me? When they talk to you, you're like, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? And they're like, yeah, my brother does it. He has it. He has that. He had a tied tongue when he was born, and they had to cut that little thing. Interesting. Are you really integrating in your brother with what you project other possible person could quantify? Yes. I think that should be something I should be doing. Can you do it the correct way in your mind? I don't think I have a choice. I think I have to. You know what's cool though? It's mostly happening because when you stop, there's like no way to even say what I want to say next and it'd be able to sound right, because you're dealing with a level of your own humanity that you know is faulty. Like, it's true. It's true. I can't say it's not correct. But by dealing with it in this faulty way, even as it is, it opens a bridge. It opens the bridge, connects something that wouldn't be connected before that. When you realize that's going on, you participate in it any fucking way you can. But you'll find that it also has a weird placing in this coupling, decoupling phase to every other thing. See, now I'm actually doing it with the device, the phone, making the video. I don't have to bring it up, and if I want to make a good video, I try to keep all those facts in the background. But fuck it. That will not be possible now. Got a trailer that's falling apart outside. I got a new jar because I like jars, so when I see them I usually pick them up and wash them. It may not be that spectacular of a statement, but that's all it is. I find one. This one had a little bit of dirt, mud, I think a snail. A living snail was in that some bitch.
Bluetooth connected.
This is why this thing's all weird, huh? Yes. I've told you, my friends, that this damn Bluetooth speaker, for some reason, is timed how it turns off. And it's wanting to conserve battery. So I can appreciate that. It knows I'm not using it. A period of time goes by, it turns itself off, makes a noise. I'm like, usually it does it right as I'm still about to know, I know it's going to happen, and now I've got to have to just hit the switch on and off, and then it comes back on and it'll reconnect itself. But so many times has it done it. And I was already at the beard and physics with it and didn't even know it. You know what? That's true. I was. These are potentials. So if I talk about Tom's bearding, I'll make sure and put in the image of Disapater. No, I do not think he is a Duke of Hell, but I think it would be a lot cooler if we just occupied those positions up with better people. If you want to have the devil in his traditional role, be fine with that, I guess. If there's some person in the creation who can actually occupy devil, I'm going to go that way. I'll meet you around front.
Bluetooth connected.
Thank you. See? Boom, boom, boom. Your semi-trans metal worker. Yeah. Break the trance. Breaking trance. We'll reconnect later. See, and all y'all motherfuckers that are gonna get turned into cyborgs, I'm laughing at y'all because I'm taking my own detour. I'm taking a detour. See my cyborg hand? It doesn't have rivets going through my flesh. That's the way I want it. Shout out to the movie Elysium and the asshole bad guy, fucking New Zealand piece of shit enemy. Kruger was such a horrible bad guy, but in the right way, good horrible. He's a fucking dickhead and excellent portrayal of actual technology that they have and will be coming soon to a cop strong dude near you. If he's wearing an exoskeleton, he'll probably kick your ass. It's probably not going to be difficult to fuck you up. So be cool with him. You probably don't always have a great incentive just to whoop somebody's ass if you're in an exoskeleton suit and you just start beating up humans who don't have it. That's extreme. But realize that we are talking crazy like that because we saw it. Elysium. Matt Damon versus this other guy, Kruger. And he's horrible. His face gets blown off. He's dead. And his face is blown off by a missile. They brought him back and put him in the thing that regenerates his face. You see this guy's face just fill back in all his stuff from a head wound. And he's in, I don't know if he's in a med bed or what. And then after he's, they hit him with the fucking, what do you call the paddles? They hit you with the paddles to start your heart if they do that, and that's theoretically what they would do. If they could regenerate tissue, your brain tissue and your own shit, and it functionally be in you and alive, then that's what they would do. And then they would hit you with the paddles, and he woke up. He went straight to the mirror and he was looking at himself. And the feeling that this guy would have, and the fact since he's the bad guy and he's done this to so many motherfuckers up until that point, it makes it an excellent use in film. Because he looks at and then he kills Jodie Foster. Sorry. She told him something, and she's his boss, though. That's what you gotta know. The super rich assholes that live in space, their military is controlled by Jodie Foster. Why? Because that's the way we're going. Don't you know? That's exactly, she would be in charge. That would be her job. And she uses all her super soldier people on you.
And the people down below don't have access to super soldier technology, regeneration, med beds stuff. But Elysium's people do. And they put themselves in an orbital ring around the Earth. So that kind of makes enough sense because there's something you can see to make it make sense, some of the ideas. This spider is gone. Why don't you clean that web up, spider? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 meal packages? I'm thinking about knocking your web down and just having you start back over. That might sound like an asshole thing to do, but I'm not sure always where to get back involved with the animals. Now these spiders, they are here and they are allowed to stay because of the massive amounts of insects they eat. So I'm not going to fuck with them. But no, there were 3 different types of spiders. 2 of them weren't going to be able to stay here. Does that make sense? And that's the actual story. One of those 2 was a spider that had dude, it was creepy. It had a really round, fat bottom. And I'd seen one of these that had a dragonfly in its web, and it was like the king of dragonflies because this spider put its web at the bottom of the trail, so it would effectively stop you. You know, it was impressive. And this motherfucking spider that was on there had its babies all over its back, and it was so disgusting. It looked like a miniature solar system moving around, and it had killed the dragonfly king. It had it up there, had him all fucking hooked to juice, and I took it out. I went down there and I took his ass out with the whip. I fucking did the rotation, explode the fucking target with the whip, and it was the right move. It was the right move. So I've never actually even realized that that's the journey of the spider, all of the spiders, because although there was these 2 other spiders, they're not here anymore. They're really not here because I made a point that they weren't. There was good reasons for them not to be. Banana spider is helpful, proper spider. The one you want. The one you want. I trailed off. See, these are the applications just in further areas. But these are the same lines of the same potentials. Even to the hanging box air conditioning equipment. Yeah, they're all correspondence. They all co-correspond. You don't believe it?